as we all know, like a lot of research and development has taken place in Europe because of their own river cleaning programs, which they are having since last 15, 20 years. So we, like the international companies, they are having quite good expertise as far as the technical know-how and the technologies are there who are proven in cleaning those rivers can be brought into the Indian market, of course with local customization and changes. There, the people who, like the companies which are having their permanent base in India, they can act as a conduit because they are here for quite some time. They understand the Indian circumstances, Indian people, and the socio-economic fabric, and the innovative technologies which are available in Europe, they can be channelized in the local customized Indian way. There are a number of opportunities if I go into the detail, like from all the aspects, from consulting, contracting, equipment supply side of it, whether it is along the river or in the hinterland, in the urban scenario or in the rural setup, chemical processes or the biological treatments and different modules, whether it could be EPC, it could be DBOT, it could be PPP. So the entire plethora of opportunities are available in the Indian market, and the international companies, they are quite serious about their efforts towards the Indian market.
So when I talk about a PPP project, specifically in the water sector, when the private sector comes and does a lot of investment, there are no guarantees given by the government in terms of the uptake of the water, or for that matter, solid waste when it comes. Also, if you look at payment guarantees, what happens if the government does not pay that money? So there has to be a state guarantee mechanism to support it. So these are the two important aspects which I think the government needs to put into place so that private sector participation could happen.
Anurag, do you have a view on this?
Yeah, like to add on what Nutan has said, like there are definitely certain financial institutions and large companies in Europe which are willing to get into the Indian market and also fund some of the really interesting and challenging projects which are complex in nature and require special expertise to handle those projects. But as Nutan mentioned, like there are certain regulatory framework, the people are ready to invest, but at the end of the day, they also want to get something in return. We are not talking about huge monies, but at least some return on investment, which any domestic investor would also like to get if he or she is investing into any project.
Financing opportunities are especially the challenge for all of us when we talk about sewage treatment or solid waste management. Taking this forward, private sector is the one where a lot of opportunities are there which needs to be supplied. It's a supply side, and when I say the government side, it's a demand side. So private sector has a lot of opportunities which can be integrated in terms of supply, and at the same time government seems to be a demand side. So there are a lot of PPP models which seems to be quite innovative kind. So I worked on a model called JCERDC, Joint Clean Energy Research and Development Center. It's implemented by IUSSTF, Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. So I was working as a program officer for this project, and this project enabled a lot of private partners in this whole ecosystem of energy, waste management, biofuel, energy efficiency of building. So that's how private sector could really compete, could bring up new innovation into various projects what India is running. We need to think about the manpower or the resource we have. So right now we have manpower. And unfortunately, the data which is coming from ADB says that in India, 98% workforce is not skilled. So when this kind of gap is there in Indian population where workforce is not skilled, they are not having that kind of training or skilled manpower. And when we come to sector like green sector, waste management sector, since morning I have been hearing, even the minister was there, he was talking on various aspects of clean energy, on aspects of solid waste management. But when we talk about these topics, we need to understand that there are various gaps. What we are talking over here, what we are talking on policies, what we are talking on technology, still the manpower who needs to be trained or who needs to have that kind of significant knowledge is not provided in India.
What are the policy reforms required for, I mean, you've answered this a little bit more, but if you can elaborate for private sector participation.
I think policy reforms are needed in terms of ensuring financial sustainability of the private sector. And when I say that, I mean the municipality has to be in a position to pay them. Currently, all of us know that they are not cash-rich organization, and the taxes has to be coming. So any kind of tariff reforms that needs to be done, any kind of smart ways, the economic policy reforms that I talked about, has to get incorporated so that the private sector gets, is financially sustainable as far as these projects are concerned. I'm sure all of us know how much money JNURM has put in solid waste management. Unfortunately, most of the projects that we have put so far are not working, because most of the projects have gone on PPP basis, and all those projects have died. So policy reforms, and therefore most importantly economic policy reforms, is something Government of India truly needs.
I'm just intrigued. You said that municipal corporations don't have money, and that can be met by raising taxes, or this tax collection is very poor?
It is both. So for example, when I talk about volumetric, individuals, if normally we have 300 grams per household, if your waste is 500 grams, then I need to charge you extra for that, because the entire infrastructure for that extra 200 gram is actually not paid by you. So similar kind of mechanisms of increasing the tariff, or increasing what we call it's a proportion of the property tax which gets into it. And also if you look at the collection efficiency of the municipality, it's hardly 20% to 30% of what they actually bill.
Yeah, it is. This is correct. Anurag, just to take it forward, what do you think the key action points should be to accelerate this entire process of what we've been talking about over here?
Yeah, specifically if we talk about the river Ganga rejuvenation program, like the first and foremost point that comes to my mind is identification of hotspots, like hotspots for pollution, the identification of drains which are actually polluting the river. We have, like the Government of India has already identified certain hotspots and certain religious places. Then another key aspect is like assessment of flow and load. Flow, I mean like what is the volume of water that is flowing through drains to the river, and load is actually how much amount of contamination in terms of BOD, COD, heavy metals, etc., which are flowing into the river. So until and unless these parameters are not known at the ground, then the third step comes is like selection of technologies. Like once we have decided upon the flow and the load, then it's much easier to select what the technology is the most appropriate one. Once the technology is selected, then probably we can estimate what is going to be the cost of cleaning. Estimation of cost, then there can be different financial models of implementing the project. And in this entire chain of actions which are required at the same time, like as other panelists have talked about the skill, like we all know sitting here, like there is a lot of gap. So there is a lot of capacity building required, both on the government side as well as on the private sector side, to take up these challenges. Then equally important thing is development of regulatory and monitoring framework. Like if these things are in place or these actions are taken, so I can foresee like there will be a success story of cleaning of our river Ganga.
What role will technology play in this?
For sure, there are advanced technology. In beginning, I say that India is not a technology-based country; it's a manpower-based country. However, when we say a technological part, surely technological advancement is needed for cleaning Ganga or cleaning Yamuna. Let's not go beyond that. There are more than 15 rivers in India, so every river has its own problem. Technologically, we can collaborate on various aspects, like I just elaborate on Joint Clean Energy Research and Development Center. We need to have a kind of PPP partnership with private and public stakeholders. Addition to that, technology play a very vital role, not only to clean that particular river, but also in making the policy. So might be, that's the same, it might be a contradictory statement, but when I say how, so when we are preparing or planning policies, we need lot of panelists, lot of people, or lot of technical advancement in terms of evaluating those policies. We need people, we need technical aspects in terms of machinery or in terms of softwares to analyze those policies. We need, just now we have seen on the screen, we are sitting here and we can, talk to people who are not here. We need technologies which needs to combine the whole ecosystem. Right. So it's not like, fine, we talk about machinery, we talk about everything, but technologies are needed it's needed in every part of the ecosystem development.
Anurag, any view on that?
Yeah, I would like to add, like, especially the information technology advancement can lead to many success stories. For example, like if a sewage treatment plant is working in the remote area somewhere, so it can be monitored from sitting in Delhi. That is quite possible. Any plant which is operating in Europe, like we can see the results here, like what is the BOD, COD level, what is the dissolved oxygen content at a particular point of time. So all these things, if they are put together, similarly, if within the STP, if the ammonia level has gone up to a certain extent, then how the batch cycles can be operated. Similarly, if there is excessive amount of rainfall that has happened, so a lot of water is going to get into the sewage treatment plant. So how that needs to be, how the batches needs to be adjusted. So all these things, they can be done automatically through the technology. No human intervention is required. I think at this point of time, when we are not having enough skilled manpower to handle the STPs,
He's going to give you the manpower.
Yeah. So if that manpower is available, till then we need to run the plants
Right.
on the auto mode. So there are certain technologies available which can be customized and brought, and they will be helpful actually in saving the power.
Right.
And other chemical influence which are put in